Welcome back to the deep dive. We are dusting off a classic today, and I mean a real classic.
Oh, yeah.
If you've been exploring new thought or practical metaphysics for, I don't know, more than 5 minutes, you have this book. It's probably on your shelf right now.
Or you inherited it from your grandmother. It's that kind of book.
It is. We're talking about Emilie Cady.
The doctor herself.
That's right. A homeopathic physician writing in the 1890s who somehow wrote the definitive textbook for the entire unity movement, Lessons in Truth.
But wait, before we go any further, we have to clear something up.
Oh, I know exactly what you're going to say.
The name.
The name. I have heard caddy, like a golf caddy, for years.
So many people say that. It's actually pronounced KD. Emilie Cady.
KD. Okay, so if you've been saying it wrong in your head for 20 years, well, here's your official permission to update the file.
You're welcome.
But we aren't just here for pronunciation. We're here because Lessons in Truth is one of those books that everyone owns, but, very few people seem to know how to actually operate.
That is the perfect word for it. Operate. Cady wasn't writing poetry. She wasn't writing high-minded philosophy just to sound smart. She was a doctor. She was writing a prescription.
A system.
A mechanical system for the mind.
And that's exactly what we're unpacking today. We're not doing the biography. We're going straight into the engine room. Chapters 4 and 5, which detail the two fundamental tools of her system.
Denials and affirmations.
Think of them as the hammer and the nail. Or, to use the analogy we're going to explore,
The delete key and the yes key.
I love that. And to help us navigate this, we're not just looking at the 1894 text. We've also pulled transcripts from Reverend Gaylon McDowell's Truth Transforms radio program.
And he does this brilliant job of taking Cady's, Victorian language and translating it into modern metaphors.
Specifically, he uses the matrix.
Which, surprisingly, fits almost perfectly.
It really, really does. So let's start with the hard one. The tool that I think most people get wrong, or honestly just avoid because it feels so uncomfortable, denial.
It is probably the most misunderstood word in the entire metaphysical lexicon.
Well, sure. Because in modern psychology, denial is a bad thing. If I say you're in denial, it means you're delusional. You're ignoring reality.
You're the guy in the burning room saying, this is fine.
Exactly.
And it goes back further than that. I mean, think about the religious context Cady was writing against, the Puritans. To them, self-denial meant misery. It meant wearing the hair shirt, eating stale bread.
Refusing to enjoy life because you thought God liked it when you suffered?
Right.
If I'm miserable, I must be holy.
Cady is just shouting for the rooftops. That is not it. When she talks about denial, she is not talking about self-deprivation. And she is definitely not talking about pretending a problem doesn't exist in the physical world.
Okay, so what is she talking about?
It's a very specific mental action. Declaring a thing not to be true.
Okay, pause right there. Declaring a thing not to be true. If I have a broken leg and I look at it and it hurts and I say, this is not true, aren't I just lying to myself? How is that helpful?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And to get it, you have to understand the distinction Cady makes between fact and truth, with a capital T.
Okay, break that down for me.
A broken leg is a fact. It's a tangible, measurable condition in the physical world. Cady doesn't dispute that. But she argues it's not the truth.
Because?
Because in this philosophy, truth is eternal. It's unchangeable. It's the spiritual blueprint. Your broken leg is a temporary arrangement of matter. It will heal. It will change. Therefore, it cannot be the ultimate reality.
Okay, so when I deny the broken leg, I'm not saying to the doctor, my leg isn't broken. I'm saying to my own mind, this broken state is not the permanent reality of my being.
Precisely. You're refusing to give it power over your core identity. You're separating the condition from the self.
I like that.
Cady uses this great metaphor of soap and water. Think about it for a second. What does soap do?
It cleans, it removes dirt.
It dissolves the accumulation of grime so you can see the actual surface underneath. Denial is the cleansing agent of the mind.
So all the gunk we accumulate.
All these error thoughts, fear, sickness, poverty, we let them cake onto our consciousness until we think that's who we are. I'm a sick person. I am a poor person. Denial just washes that away to reveal the original you.
It's scrubbing off the barnacles from the hull of a ship.
And you have to do the scrubbing before you can paint the ship. That's the critical order of operations here. You cannot build a new consciousness on top of the old rotten one. You have to dissolve the error first.
I want to push on this reality concept a bit more because this is where I think people get stuck. It's just so hard to tell your brain that what your eyes are seeing isn't real.
It's incredibly hard. Our senses are, well, they're designed to deceive us in a way. Cady uses the sun analogy, which I think is just perfect for this.
You mean the sunrise?
Right. Every single morning, you watch the sun come up in the east, you watch it travel across the sky, set in the west. If you went purely by your sensory input, by what your eyes tell you, you would swear on your life that the sun is moving around the earth.
It looks real. It feels real.
But it's a lie.
It's an appearance.
Exactly. The truth, which you know intellectually, is that the earth is spinning. The sun is relatively stationary. Now, here's the key. When you see the sunset, do you panic? Do you run around screaming, "Oh no, the sun is falling out of the sky"?
No, of course not, because I know the astronomy. I know what's actually happening.
Your knowledge of the truth overrides the appearance. You interpret the visual data differently. Cady is asking us to do the exact same thing with our problems.
So poverty, sickness, they're just the sunset.
They're the appearance caused by a wrong perspective or a spin in our thinking. So the denial is basically reminding yourself of the astronomy. It's saying, I see this condition, but I deny that it is the ultimate law of my universe.
You're withdrawing your consent. You're saying, I do not consent to this being my master.
You got it.
Okay, so let's get practical. We've got the soap and water. We're ready to scrub. Cady gives us 4 specific denials that seem to cover, well, pretty much the whole spectrum of human anxiety.
They are very comprehensive by design.
The first one is the heavy hitter. There is no evil.
This is the one that makes people throw the book across the room.
Right. I mean, you turn on the news and saying there is no evil feels almost offensive. It feels naive.
It does if you interpret evil as bad things happening. Obviously, terrible things happen. But metaphysically, Cady is defining evil not as a presence, but as an absence.
It's the darkness analogy.
Exactly. Darkness is not a thing. You can't get a bucket of darkness and pour it into a room. Darkness is just what happens when you block the light. It has no source of its own.
So Cady is arguing that evil is just the result of a mind that has blocked out the awareness of good. It has no independent power source.
Exactly. So by saying there is no evil, you aren't saying bad things didn't happen. You're saying this bad thing doesn't have a God of its own. It's just a shadow.
And shadows can't actually hurt you. They can scare you, but they have no substance.
Which leads right into the second denial. There is no absence of life, substance, or intelligence.
This one attacks the feeling of lack, right? That
Yeah.
feeling of not being smart enough, not knowing what to do.
Yes, that feeling of being stuck. This denial reminds us that universal intelligence God, the field, whatever you want to call it, is omnipresent. It's everywhere.
So there are no dead zones.
No spot where God is not. So if you're in a crisis, the intelligence to solve that crisis is already right there with you. You're denying the illusion of its absence.
I like that. The answer is already in the room. Always.
Okay, number 3. Pain, sickness, poverty, old age, and death cannot master me.
Notice that verb. Master.
Yeah, that stood out to me. It doesn't say they won't happen.
No, she isn't saying you won't age or that you won't stub your toe. She's saying these things are not the boss of you. They're conditions of the experience, but they do not define the experiencer.
You are the spiritual being having the human experience, not the body that is aging.
You got it. And that leads to the last one.
There is nothing in the universe for me to fear.
Because if the first 3 are true, if evil isn't a real power, if intelligence is everywhere, and if matter can't be your master, then fear is just. It's obsolete. And this is where Reverend McDowell brought in the Matrix. This is where the rubber really meets the road for me. He talked about Neo.
It's the perfect modern myth for this. In the movie, Neo is terrified of the agents. Why? Because he thinks the rules of the simulation are real.
He thinks if he gets shot, he dies. He thinks gravity applies to him.
He believes the appearance. He believes the sunset is real. But then there's that moment, that awakening where he realizes, wait, this is just code. This isn't real.
That is the supreme denial. He denies the reality of the Matrix itself.
And what happens?
Suddenly he can stop bullets.
The bullets didn't change. He changed. He realized they had no actual power over him. Cady is telling us that our fears, our bills, our diagnoses, our conflicts, they are the bullets. They look lethal. But if we can reach that state of realization of true denial, they just drop to the floor.
But, and this is a huge, but we need to fly. There's a trap here. I feel like if I tried this, I'd be tempted to do it aggressively. I'd be gritting my teeth, screaming, there is no evil, well, panic sweating.
Which is the exact opposite of what you should do. If you're screaming, you're fighting. And if you're fighting something, you are, by definition, acknowledging that it is real and powerful.
You don't fight a shadow.
You don't box with a ghost. Charles Fillmore, who founded Unity and was Cady's contemporary, had this beautiful image for it. He said we should use denials like sweeping cobwebs out of a corner.
Oh, that's such a gentle image.
It's effortless action. You're not afraid of a cobweb. You don't need a flamethrower. You just look at it, see it doesn't belong there, and gently swipe it away.
Yeah.
Oh, that thought of poverty. Just a cobweb. Gone. It should be a relief, not a battle.
So we've swept the room, we've used the soap and water, the mind is clean, but we can't just leave it empty, right? Nature abhors a vacuum.
If you leave the mind empty, the old thoughts will just rush right back in. You have to plant something new. You have to fill the space.
Enter the affirmation, the yes key.
The word affirm comes from the Latin adfirmare, to make firm. Denial dissolves. Affirmation constructs. We are making a statement of truth firm in our consciousness.
Okay, and the mechanism here. This is where I want to talk about the elevator. This was in the research notes, and I thought it was the best explanation of why we have to actually say the words.
It's the law of demand and supply. Imagine a skyscraper. You've got a high-speed elevator. It has the motors, the electricity, the cables. It has the capacity, the supply to take you to the penthouse.
But it's just sitting there in the lobby.
And it will sit there until the end of time unless someone presses the button. Pressing the button is the demand.
So the universe is the elevator.
It has the infinite power to lift you, but it's totally impartial. It just waits for the demand.
And affirmations are the button press.
Exactly. We so often sit around praying, God, please fix this. Please guess what I need. And the principle is just sitting there saying, press the button. You have to actively claim the good that is already prepared for you.
So it's not that we're convincing God to give us something. It's that we are tuning ourselves to receive what's already there.
Yes. And to shape it. This brings us to the other major analogy, the cookie cutter, which I believe came from Reverend Johnny Coleman.
I love this one. It makes the metaphysics so tangible.
So imagine universal substance, that invisible stuff that everything is made of, as this infinite sheet of cookie dough. It's everywhere, but it's formless. It has no shape of its own.
It's just potential, delicious potential.
And your mind, specifically your beliefs and affirmations, is the cookie cutter. And the dough does not care what shape it becomes. It has no opinion.
That's kind of the scary part, actually.
It is terrifying and it's empowering. If you hold a cookie cutter shape like poverty, struggle, and sickness, and you press that into the dough of life,
The substance will fill that shape perfectly. You'll bake poverty cookies, and then you'll look at them and say, why is God doing this to me?
when you're the one holding the cutter, you chose the shape. Affirmations are the process of deliberately picking up a new cutter. You put down the sickness cutter and you pick up the perfect health cutter.
And you press it into the dough by saying, I am spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious.
And the dough has to fill it. That is the law. It might not happen instantly. The baking takes time, but the shape is determined by the cutter.
So Cady gives us 4 big affirmations to use as these new cutters. They really mirror the denials. Number 1, God is life, love, intelligence, substance, omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence.
It's the ingredients list. You're establishing the base.
2, I am a child or manifestation of God. His life flows through me. That connects you to the dough. 3, I am spirit, perfect, holy, harmonious.
That's the shape.
And 4, God works in me to will and to do. He cannot fail.
That last one is so crucial.
It cannot fail.
It takes the pressure off your little ego. You aren't powering the elevator. You're just pressing the button. The grid powers the elevator.
Now, I can hear the listener thinking, okay, I have denials, I have affirmations. Do I just walk around muttering all 8 of these all day? Is there a strategy? And this is where Cady really surprised me. She actually profiles us.
Yeah. She has a user guide based on personality types. I found this part fascinating. One size does not fit all.
So who needs what?
Well, she starts with the hard cases. People who are maybe a bit rigid, intolerant, selfish, or, and this is the kicker, highly successful people who are overly self-confident.
Wait. Successful people need the delete key. That sounds so counterintuitive.
Think about it. If you've built a huge ego based on, I did this, I am the best, you've crystallized this shell around yourself. The light can't get in. Cady says these people need denials. They need to dissolve that hard shell of ego.
To break down the false sense of I so the real power can work?
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a weird kind of sense. So what about the other side of the coin?
People who are timid. The people who say, I'm not good enough, I'm sorry, I don't know. The people who are easily swayed by what others think.
They don't need to be broken down.
No, they're already puddles. They need structure. They need the affirmations. They need the cookie cutter to give them a spine. They need to build up the realization of their own power. I am one with God. I am powerful.
That is actually really helpful diagnostics. If you feel rigid, deny. If you feel weak, affirm. But before we send everyone off to start pressing buttons, we have to talk about the warning label. The radio transcript called it the wild horse.
Right. This is so important for expectation management. You might listen to this and think, great, I'll say I am wealthy 3 times and my bank account will just fill up.
But your mind is a creature of habit. It doesn't like the new cookie cutter.
Not at all. Imagine your mind is a wild horse. For 20, 30, 40 years, you've let it run wherever it wants to go. It's been grazing on fear and negativity. Suddenly, you jump on its back and pull the reins. You say, no, we're going this way. We're thinking about abundance.
The horse is going to buck.
It's going to kick. It's going to try to throw you off. This manifests as that internal voice screaming, you're a liar. You're broke. You're sick. This is stupid.
That's the resistance.
That is the wild horse. And the advice from Cady is simple. Stay on the horse. Do not get off. The bucking means it's working. It means you're challenging the old pattern. It requires discipline. This isn't magic. It is mental training.
Change your thinking, change your life. It sounds like a bumper sticker, but when you break it down like this, soap, water, cookie cutters, wild horses, it's actually a rigorous discipline.
It is the hardest work you will ever do. But the promise is that thoughts control circumstances, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Once you really get that, once you flip that equation, you're free.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought that came up in the research, a quote from Phineas Quimby. He was sort of the grandfather of this whole movement, right?
He was the pioneer who influenced this whole generation of thinkers, yeah,
Huh?
including Cady. And he said something really profound.
The explanation is the cure.
The explanation is the cure.
Unpack that for us.
It suggests that we don't need to heal a disease in the way we normally think. We just need to understand the truth. If you're confused by a math problem and you suddenly have that aha moment and realize, oh, 2 + 2 is 4, the confusion vanishes instantly.
You don't have to heal the error.
The error simply ceases to exist because the truth has arrived.
That's like a 45-degree angle.
A 45-degree angle is eternally a 45-degree angle. It can't be anything else. Once your mind aligns with that spiritual geometry, the truth of your being, the problem on the paper must resolve. It is immutable law.
The math has to work. Wow. That is a powerful place to land. So here's your mission should you choose to accept it. Be the elevator operator this week. Find that area of your life where you've been staring at the closed doors. Pick a cutter, press the button, and stay on the horse when it bucks.
And don't be afraid to use the soap and water first.
Clean house, then build. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Emilie Cady, pronounced Cady. We'll see you next time.
See you then.